We are live, we are live, we are live. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We are live, live, live. We are live. Oh my god. Hi, hi, hi. Bisala, I said Bisala. Yeah, it's Bisala. We are live, 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 live. Hello, Yejide. Hello, 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 hello. Let me put the. I see Bisala's number one fan. Bisala, your number one fan came before you. Your number one fan came before you. Hi everyone. Hi. Bisala, so you need to request to hi Yejide, or you need to request to be in my life. So the week is week. Hey, the wig is wig, you know. Let me view. Today I decided to come on point. The wig is wig, and today I decided to come. Hello, Bisala. How are you
Hello.
today?
Can you
Yes,
hear me?
yes, I hear you well.
Awesome. How's it going?
It's going well. So yeah, I just want to quickly put, I can't remember if this is exactly how the topic was shared, but I'm just going to put what came to my mind. Hi, everyone. We're starting in 1, 2, 3. How to leverage global reserve for career advancement. Yeah, I'm going to pin this topic now. So just give me a minute. Spin. Hello, everyone. I can see that your number one fan. He came even before this live. Yeah, but yes, I know. I can see a lot of this. So he came even before, but he's the one that clicks the like
Uh,
button. I say,
yeah.
Mr. Father. Yeah. Anyways, thank you everyone for joining. So today we are going to be discussing first of all, Bisola, I really want to thank you for doing this. I thank you for wanting to share your story and using your story to really motivate and empower and inspire everyone that it can be done and nothing is impossible when you put your mind and just things like that. And I really just want to thank you. So guys, we're going to be discussing something that I found. I know that the topic or the this story is not everywhere, so that's why it's also very important, because it's not everybody knows about this route path. First, I'm not going to really talk about it from an immigration standpoint, because that's really not, well, I'm not an immigration consultant, and that's really not my forte. But again, it's going to cross immigration, it's going to cross relocating, and then it's going to cross career advancement. So what we're going to speak about, Bisola is going to really be taking us on her own career journey, what she has done, how things that she has done before was able to tie in into the future that the future that she's now living, and how we can all sort of take what you take. You take what you want from this session, but I want to encourage that we take the good, we take that story, and we use it to fuel our own journey and just to fuel our own ambitions and desires and where we're going. So this is all what I want. This is just how I want to prepare your mind. So Bisola has worked as I believe over a decade experience in working in financial sector, working in technology, working in insurance, of course back in Nigeria, and then here. Bisola is a master's holder with a distinction. Please do, what is that thing, that short thing?
Drum roll.
So then but this is just, so this are Bisola's background, and I wanted her to just come and share a story. So Bisola, without me talking too much, I know that people are here for for me. So I really just want you to share your story with us. What was your career background? What were you doing? How did you start? Why did you move to the UK? And of course, everybody can, this is specifically, we are going to talk about the UK, but you can take it and replicate it and use it wherever country you want to go or that you are. So yes, Mr. If you can just start us off. Yeah.
Right. Thank you for having me, Oyinda of Career Ready Pro.
Yeah.
Like, we've come a long way, and then you kind of know my story, you know my background, and up until this moment. So yes, I mean, kudos to you also, because you've always been like in the background. But I mean, my story, I have about 10 years experience in customer experience across several industries. I mean, like several industries. And honestly, when I think about it, I think about the journey. I never knew that it was going to amount to this. I was just like, what am I doing? You know, at some point I changed career paths, and you know, people would just be like, you're very good at this thing. Why do you want to change your career path? Just keep doing it. So about at 2011, I joined Access Bank in a department they used to call, you know, financial services, actually, bank, financial institution, in a department they used to call total quality management, right? Fresh out of Access Bank training school, we did all the, you know, financial investment courses, everything that was like really accounting, profit and loss, you know, and then I was a biz admin student from University of Lagos. So everything was tied to like my life around finance. I come from a family of, you know, heavy financial inspired people and things like that. So when I joined the bank, I thought it was going to be like typical banking, you know, maybe I'll be a marketer, I'll be in accounting, relationship management, or anything of that sort. And so my deployment letter came and said, oh, something around total quality management. And I was like, okay, what is this? You know, nobody knew. It was like, what is this about? You know, like, you know, my mates got posted to like, you know, maybe account,
Treasury.
treasury,
Because then everybody always shouts about that treasury.
or different things. And I was like, you know, I was like, did I come to Access Bank Training School to suffer and go and start doing quality management and stuff like that? You know, but I was like, okay, count it all joy. You know, you never really know where the road leads, actually. So I started doing my thing. Along the line within the organization, the unit transitioned to something called customer experience. And basically, it was like the first of its kind. I know that Access Bank was one of the leading institutions that started customer experience. And then we embodied it as a whole. It became like a real full-fledged department. We had business process, we had innovation, you know, we had several departments within the team. And then so I found myself in this career path. And I was like, okay, how do I tell people that I'm not doing customer service? Because people will just come and be like, oh, you know, in Nigeria, it's like, once you say customer experience, the next thing they say is customer service. Oh, yeah, customer service.
Customer care.
Or customer care. So I tried to explain that, no, it's not customer care, it's customer experience. There's a difference. And then honestly, I think that was one of the things that really used to, I don't know if I'll call it a stigma, but it really used to, you know, like, I never was really like exactly proud of it, because I'll be like, see all my other mates doing like real big things out there and stuff like that. So, I, you know, for what it was, I was like, okay, you know, this is what God has decided to give me, you know, put me, just do it because like, you don't have any other choice. I tried to change departments like a couple of times. It will never work. For every time I tried to change a team or leave that team or join another team, it will never work. I can see some of my colleagues on the call, my ex-colleagues on the call, you know, but and
ex-colleague, we greet you.
You know, so along the line it was like, okay, so you know, we had a department head at the time, and it was like, okay, let's make meaning out of this thing. Bisola, you know what? You know what? You'll be in charge of customer experience channels. In that time, this what we call fintech was digital channels, you know, so we're managing product experience around mobile banking, internet banking, ATMs. And I was like, okay, this is more interesting, because the other things just looked like, while it was like shaping customer experience for the future within the bank, you know, I started to see, you know, myriad of opportunities. I was like, oh, like with technology, you can do this. With technology, you can do that. With technology. So when we roll out our customer satisfaction surveys, because we would usually have satisfaction surveys for our channels to know how our products are performing. So it started to become like product experience and product management. However, it was still customer experience, because it had everything to do with the customer, right? And making sure that customers were always satisfied, processes were making sense, technology was always functioning. So along the line, my colleagues and I were like, you know that even though we call this department customer experience, we're literally just doing everything for everybody within the organization, because our tentacles are spread across every department you can think of, even if it's finance, even if it's treasury, even if it's operations, everything you can think of, you know, it was just embodied within that space called customer experience. So we began to like it, you know, we would do it with joy. And then we started saying that, oh, if you work in CX, there was like some level of props that was coming to you, because we were like the movers and shakers. So we'd be like, oh, CX has said this can't happen, and so it mustn't happen. CX has said you can't do this. So everyone is like, CX. So when they say CX is coming to your team, everybody just be like, these people, they are coming again. No, do you understand? So I was like, okay, this thing is not as bad. You know, so imagine you going to meet stakeholders and product owners to say, no, customers said they don't want this. This is what they want. Customers said they don't want that. So it began to make sense. And after, you know, like 7 years, I left Access Bank. and I, started my career path again, I saw that this career path was like in high demand. The next thing I found myself in health insurance. And I was like, wait, health insurance and customer experience. How does that correlate? And so I got a senior manager role with one of the leading health organizations, health management insurance organizations. And I was like, okay. I got there again, and it had to do with, technology, putting processes in place, discussing with stakeholders, telling them you can't do this. Customers are complaining about this process. You can't change it. It really had nothing to do with customer service, but there's a customer service part to it. It's like an offshoot or like a baby of customer experience. And that's just basically how every other department is within, all the organizations. And so they'll be like, oh, customer experience, come and draw up a roadmap for us on how, what this process is going to be like in the next 5 years, in the next 6 years, in the next 10 years, in the next 2 years. And I was like, this thing is really jelly though, it's making sense. People are really, and once in a while, people will reach out to me on LinkedIn, say things like, oh, I really envy your career path. Please, would you mentor me? Would you tell me how you got to this position? I was like, this thing is not as bad, But I would just, if you ever tell me customer service, I will be quick to correct and say, please, my work.
Experience.
So it's customer experience. There's a really, really huge difference. So after a while, I moved to this time general and life insurance. And then similar thing again, I was doing it wholeheartedly. It came to a point where I had to be like on a very big project, bank assurance project. And it was like the customer experience team that was also driving it. Now, bank assurance project is like a partnership for insurance products between a bank and then insurance company. So our banking partners were like, oh, we want the customer experience team to drive the customer department within this project and also draw the roadmap for what the product life cycle is going to be like, everything around it. And it was like a very big project. And so we had to have meetings with stakeholders, with GMs of the banking partners, EDs. And I was like, say small meal that I used to think customer experience was like nothing, and then it's, opening doors, getting me in all the rooms that I could think of. And then I started to see the synergy of how technology is like really making things move within organizations. In terms of strategy, they would look for customer experience. In terms of operations, they would look for customer experience. Owing that, it got to a point where I started hiring people. HR would say, you know what, we want to recruit people. We need people from the customer experience team to be on the panel. So they will call me or a team member and be like, oh, okay, we need somebody from customer experience team, because companies were beginning to understand the value of customer experience. So you now get things like there's customer experience and there's people experience. Without people experience and customer experience, the people you're hiring cannot really function for you because there must be a sync. Before we knew, we became partners with HR, and HR would be like, oh, customer experience, we've set our KPI for the year. We want you to have an element of customer experience for everybody within the organization. So it became a foundational thing within organizations. And then it started, making grounds. I started growing. I started, embracing it, loving it. And after some time, I was like, okay, it seems I've been around all the industries. Honestly, if you check my LinkedIn, it's almost like I've done everything. It's so funny because now I'm doing charity tech. I never ever thought that I like customer experience in charity, like from where to where, but I realized that customer experience has a path in every industry you can think of.
Okay.
So
yes, I want you to touch on, so at what point did you transit tech out when you transit to the tech industry? Was it while you were in Nigeria? Was it when you moved to the UK? Because I want us to each on that, because I know that a lot of people want to hear, okay, so how do you move to tech? And then how did you get this global visa? Because that's what everybody wants to get to. So I wanted you to just now touch on, so how was it from Nigeria? Was it when you moved there? How did it happen? How did you then become a customer experience professional in the tech industry? We can just finish off with that.
So I'm a very ambitious person, and people around me know that. Some of my friends call me like a corporate hustler. Like, where the next best career is, that's where you would find me. Do you understand? So I've done all these other industries, and everybody was like, this tech thing is moving, or this tech thing, how, and I was like, customer experience, how do I get into tech? I can't code. I'm not a coder. I don't know anything about coding. I don't know anything about, developing anything, blah, 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 stuff like that. All I knew was that when it comes to customer experience and everything around customers, around strategies for organization and improving customer experience, find me there. So I started calling all my friends. I network a lot. First things first, if you want to get into tech, look for your network of people. Only that I networked to the extent that I started going on LinkedIn. I was looking for corporate companies. Some of my friends can bear me witness. I'll just be like, which company are you in? They say you've gone to one new tech company. Is there space for me there? They'll say, I don't know. They'll say, okay, can you go and approach the person? I say, why not? But they will tell me no. There's no harm in trying. Yeah. The highest is that, hey, come back later, or sorry, you can come back next time. I have a pitch where I go and tell people about myself. I'll go on LinkedIn. I'll look for the CEOs of foreign companies, COOs, head of HR on LinkedIn for both foreign and local companies, like high top companies. And I'll just go there. I'll be like, introduce myself, and be like, oh, you have a really amazing profile. And knowing that the funniest part is that I actually did land interviews with some of these companies. I did land interviews with some of these big companies, networking. After that, so through this networking process, I landed a role at Flutterwave, right?
Okay.
And then that was the beginning of my,
This is in Nigeria, right?
In Nigeria. Okay. I had gone around talking to my network of people saying, oh, I want to get into tech. Calling all my friends and saying, Bisola, it's really hard to get in, but if you can do the work, do you understand? You would get into it. So I said, okay, I don't know how to code or anything, but I believe, so I've done research. First things first is you also have to do your research. What role can you fit into? There are so many roles that are like very valuable today. Customer experience, customer success, product experience, product management. These are roles that are like highly desirable in tech, right? Even like tech assistant operations, something around
what they call tech sales.
Yeah. So you really don't have to be in coding or anything like that. I just knew that you needed to have a very valuable network, and you must come correct. Like, you must know what you want to offer. You must have the value that you're bringing to the table. So at these interviews, they would ask me, like, what are you bringing to the table? And I'll talk about strategies that are done. I'll talk about roadmaps. I'll talk about revenues that help companies generate. I'll talk about partnerships that I've worked on, and tie it to the value that your organization is seeking for, and tell you that I think I'm the best person because I have this myriad of opportunities. I've worked across these several industries. I definitely understand what customers want. I'm the right person for you, for the organization. So I was doing all of that. And before I knew it, Oyinda, I was there almost 2 to 3 years at Flutterwave. Someone reached out to me on LinkedIn and said, you have a very impressive career. We want you to come and be our Chief Customer Experience Officer. I was like, okay. Chief Customer Experience Officer.
I'm trying to find the abbreviation.
So I was called the CCO.
So the CCO now.
Yeah.
Okay. CCO.
And I was like, okay. Only I didn't do any interview for that role. There was it was just chats. These days, all you just need to do is leverage your network, leverage people in your LinkedIn is a very powerful tool, like super powerful, right? Like, people underestimate the worth of or the value of what LinkedIn can do for you. I mean, like, there is no hard and fast rule to these things. God is not going to fall from heaven.
Yes,
right?
He's not.
You have to do the work yourself. So
in the words of one of the men of God that I liked, that does it say? The blessings of God flows to men, from men, through men, or something like that. Not saying anywhere.
Yes, I mean, like, also just thinking about it, like, what's the highest that would happen? They will tell you no. Do you understand? Yeah. I've approached companies to say, let me come and do pro bono work. I just want to learn. I just want to learn. I want to understand the ropes of this business. Just make me, just go out there, like, explore your options. I mean, like, for every time I've had an interview, I have someone in HR that is in my corner. I have someone in sales that is in my corner. I have someone in operations. I have someone that will call and say, see, I have an interview. What do I need to say? Even the salaries, Oyinda, how much do I need to ask? Do you understand? So that they won't just kick me out of the door, right? Do your research. Like, do your research from A to Z.
And work your network.
Work your network. Talk about projects that you have worked on. There was this project that I had worked on while I was at Access Bank, and I was so proud of that project because it involved a lot of, what's it called? High-profile consultants and stuff like that. And it was like a company-wide project. So never, never underplay whatever achievement you have worked on. You may say it's very small. You may say, oh, it counts for nothing. But trust me, when you put it in your resume, you begin to ask yourself, when did I do this? Was it me that did this? Like, when did I make this magic happen? Right? And you can defend it, you can talk about all those things, and you'll be amazed. So for every time I would go on my LinkedIn, I keep scouting. I make sure that every new technology I'm aware of it, so that I can, those buzzwords, they're very important. Now everybody's talking about artificial intelligence, all those type of things, digital twins and things like that. You must, make yourself, if you want to remain in the technology sector. The first time I heard about APIs, I was like, what is API? Which one is API again? Because, coming from all the other places I had worked, I really did. But I went, sat down, did research. What does it mean? How do I make this thing, how do I make it impactful, make meaning of all the experience that I had, and leveraged it. One of the tech companies I worked, I made sure that every project that had to do with like moving the company forward in terms of revenue driving, in terms of revenue growth, customer acquisition, in terms of product growth, and you would find me there. I literally wanted to be visible. I literally wanted everyone to know that, oh, there's one Abby somewhere that is working on this project. Oh, go to customer experience. Go there, you meet Abby. Abby will be able to tell you about this project. I wasn't just doing it for fun. I was doing it because I knew that these experiences will count for something. Another thing is you never really know where the end, you never really know where this journey ends, where the journey ends. But just keep doing it because the experience always counts for something. And that's why when I go for interviews, I'm always saying, oh, I've done this, I've done that. I mean, people look at you and be like, you did all of this. I mean, like, when, how? And for me, I won't call it a culture shock when I came to the UK. But I mean, I felt like some recruiters were intimidated. And one actually gave me a feedback and said, you're too good to be true. I actually got that feedback from a recruiter saying, you're too good to be true. Like, only you, how do you have
all of
this
this
embodiment?
packets of experience.
And so they throw a question, I'll talk about it. I'll talk about my strategies, how I did it, the end result, everything I'd achieved. And they'll be like, oh, they'll talk about another one. I'll say, oh, this is how, I was literally just bringing in solutions. So I became a solution-oriented person, right? Solution-oriented, and ensuring that there is always a method to the madness through customer experience. And so through that, I learned strategy, I learned revenue, I learned, everything that had to do with the nitty-gritty of fintech companies. Even when they started talking about, oh, we want to raise, we are going from series, A, B, C, D, how to speak to investors, how to develop a pitch. I made sure that I was grounded in all those things, right? So I knew I had to learn the ropes. I had to network correctly. And I haven't disposed those network of people. They are still very much in my corner. So that when there is any need for, oh, what's the next best thing? Please,
You will go back to them.
I'll go back
Okay.
to them. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, thank you. So everything you have shared, I mean, everything you have shared is valuable, and everything you have shared. Thank you so much for sharing. So I'm sure that everybody's they are taking what will help them from all of these things you said. So now I really wanted to ask you. So at what point how did you go about to come about the global talent visa? Because I know that the global talent visa is like one of the most sought after visas here in the UK, and it's a visa that is, I would say, that is sort of reserved or classified for really highly skilled, and there's a word I'm looking for. So there's a particular word I'm looking for when it comes to me. I'll say it, but I know that is a kind of visa that is like reserved for the highly skilled, for the people that they feel like are highly intelligent and will add value to the country. And we all know that British people don't give you anything for free. They only want to give you things. So I would like you to really share. I mean, we have understood where you come from, all of your background and experience, and how you have been able to leverage. So now I want you to tell us, how were you able to tie it for you to have that confidence to say, I can apply for this visa now. And you also get highly skilled talent. Yeah, but there's a particular word I'm looking for. Don't worry, it will come to me. So, so I want you to really tell us, how were you first of all able to feel like you can qualify for? How do you feel like you qualify first? How do you feel like you need to give us that sort of level of confidence? How do you feel like I qualify for this visa now? Because preparing I mean, when we were talking about this, I know that I did a spot, I did, and that's what I posted on LinkedIn. I did a spot check research. 1.2 million immigrants was admitted into the UK in 2022. Only 2,980 came through and that's all over the world. That's Indians, Chinese, Japanese, everybody that is key. 2,980 were only from this global talent visa. So 1.2 million. 2,900, and so you can see that we are very far. So I like you to really tell us how first of all did you embody the confidence, say me, I'm going this way, and then you now went the way everything came out. I need you to start from that. What was your mindset, and then walk us through how you were able to do it, because I know that people are here and your ex-colleague are here who want to go and do the same. Brief for us, please.
So the thing is, I heard about the global talent first in February 2022. And that time it just felt like one high horse, like almost reserved for the best of the best of the best.
Yes, the 1%
like
of the 1%. Yes.
You have to be in tech, you have to be coding, you have to be a developer, you have to be all those, techie things, right? And then I said to myself, so I was speaking to a colleague, an ex-colleague, and she was like, oh, do you have this? I said, no. Do you have that? I said, no. Do you have that? And she said, oh, I don't think you qualify. I said, okay, no problem. I went online. There's like all these eligibility checkers, right? So you enter your whatever. So I entered my years of experience, entered all the things that I've done. I filled it. And then they said, oh, you do not qualify again. I said, okay, whatever. I just put it aside because at that time, I was like, okay, let me go for my master's, right? And at that point I was like, okay, career change to now get into tech proper, right? Because I felt again downplaying my customer experience. Like, oh, maybe the customer experience wasn't strong enough, right? Let me go and do a course in business analytics, and then maybe I'll start coding proper. I'll start doing all those like really tech things, and then I'll merge my experience and then add it to this one, and by that time I'll be on fire. I'm still on fire anyways, but the truth is that it was the customer experience that did 70 or 90% of the 110% of the work was customer experience, as a matter of fact. So one fine day, I'd finished school. I'd just been here. Oh, Bisola, someone would just be like, Bisola, I just got this tech global talent visa. Another person would just be like, I'll be like, but you're a developer now. You're an engineer. I say, no. Go there, go and check. Go and read it. I'm sure there's a room. There's a spot with your name in it. Just go. Make your research.
See, have good people.
Please continue. Good people that are not gatekeepers, that don't keep information from you, actually. I mean, like everybody, if you're in a foreign community, we know that Nigerians are gatekeepers. And honestly,
that thing with the person, but today is not the day.
Just that information can change someone's life. Someone gave me the information and it did change my life. So I just used to hear in buckets and pieces. So one fine day I said, you know what? A friend called me and said, Bisola, go and check this thing. I think you qualify. Customer experience or not, you qualify. You have worked in tech long enough. You are very intelligent. You are smart. And then one thing my colleagues know about me is, give me any document. I will package it for you. You see that English? We will write the English. If it's Queen's English, we will write it. We will spark the spark in the English. We will write the English very well. So she was like, I know you now. You have this capacity. Go and look it through. Go and, make your research. So I went. I did my research. I said I did qualify, but I wasn't confident. I was like, But then again, I was like, it's me now. The highest is that they will say no, and life continues. Like I'm not going to sweat the small stuff. I already had a path that I was pursuing anyway. So I was like, okay, if this one comes through, why not if not? So I sat down one fine day. I took my, journal. I started writing. I started mapping out all the requirements that I was going to need. And so I sat down. I said, okay, 3 recommendation letters from high people, from, highly recognized and respectful people in tech. I did my mapping. Can I get 3 people? Because I've worked in tech. I have all these networks of people. If I call them and say, I need this help from you, would you be able to help me? I'm not that bad a person after all. I'm not that bad a person after all. So I ticked that box, right? I said, yes, I can get.
Hey, Rose is ginger. Hey, technician, go.
I can get people to do documentation for me. So I said, yes. Now, another thing with the technician is you have to keep your evidence. One thing I always do with me, anywhere I move with my file of documents. And honestly, owing that was also another lifesaver. If I contributed P to a company, when I'm leaving, trust me, that P is going in my file, is going with me. If I wrote A to Z, that A to Z is going with me in the company. It's going with it will remain in the company, but it's going in my phone.
You
I
have your portfolio of your work.
have my own work. So I started mapped out all the recommendations. So global talent says you must meet 3 criteria. You must make impact, you must meet innovation, and then you must also meet revenue. So these are important criteria that you have to meet for global talent. So I said impact. All the technology that I've been doing and working on and making people's lives better. That is impact. It's not that difficult. Yeah. That's impact already. I'm helping people do financial transactions from Nigeria to Germany, from Canada to Nigeria. That's impact. Yeah. That's me making impact already. I'm spreading financial ease across continents. That is impact. It's so funny because on my new job, when my boss was going to introduce me, was like, "Oh, let's welcome Abby to the team. She has a wide range of experience across different continents: the UK, Africa, Canada." Me, I never even saw myself as that. I never like that. Just like, we are just doing the work that they are paying us to do, But then again, I was like, that's impact. Yeah. I did a bit of, stint in health tech, making health insurance affordable for people through technology. That's like real.
That's a major impact, especially in a developing country.
I was like, these that they want to see, like, how are you making people's lives easier, right? So I said, okay, and if that's the case, then number one, I made that in terms of impact. Then I said, okay, where are the evidences that I would use to back this thing up? I went to my files. I started searching. Before I knew it, A was rhyming with B was rhyming with C was rhyming with D. I said, okay, seems like I'm ticking the right boxes. In terms of revenue, I asked myself, okay, Bisola, I'm not a founder, I'm not a CEO. So all those $15 million that, companies, 300, today we raised this, all those things. But then again, I saw that in terms of revenue generation, I had actually worked with other departments to make sure that they were able to raise revenue. So I said that also counts for revenue generation. The thing is, with global talent, there's always a method to the madness. Do you understand? There is always a way around it. It doesn't have to be hard and fast. Like, it doesn't have to be like straightforward. As long as you can defend your involvement in whatever it is that you have spoken about, trust me, this same customer experience I used, because I'm not in marketing, so how do I defend that I raised money? Do you understand? But I said I was working with stakeholders, and my stakeholders are people in marketing, people in sales, reviewing their, experiences of their customers and things like that. So I was partnering with them to say, oh, today we have campaign. I was customer experience project manager for some of these programs. And I wrote it there that I managed the project as a customer experience manager, as product experience. All these things did count for something. But at the top of your head, you just think you're doing your day-to-day. But actually, it does count for something, right? And in terms of innovation is, a customer said that they would like to see products maybe move from Canada to Senegal. And then you made a case for it. You did a justification. You made, did a business case for all those type of things, and talk about why it was an innovation. It was the first to be done in Africa. It was the first to be done in your company. You were the person that came up with the idea. It's never been done. Whatever it is, like, if you sit down within yourself and think through, I'm sure you would always find something to say, oh, I think in terms of ingenuity, I thought about this. I brought this idea up, right? And as long as you can put all these things in terms of documentation. Now I hear that global talent visas are like really, stricter now. And then another thing is, when a country says, oh, we are releasing a new what's it called? A new, maybe, what's it called again? Migration routes. Always just be the first. Be their guinea pig until they fine tune it. Just be the first to try. Keep working with them to say, oh, Canada has released one new visa type for people in technology. Before they get their feet and get their act right, you'll be able to at least bamboozle them with all the ones that you have done. And is that even without the UK Global Talent Visa, America has myriad of visa opportunities that are capped. There is the EBNIW2. A lot of Nigerians qualify for that visa. Like,
but we will not calm down or sit down to
you will not research. You understand? A lot of Nigerians, China has utilized their visa space, their visa slot. India has utilized their visa slot for that visa.
Yeah.
For Nigeria, it is still very untapped. There's another one, O1 visa for global talent as well for America. It is a similar thing, but for Nigerians, they haven't even scratched the surface. They haven't done anything. If you are in business, if you're in entrepreneurship, you have media recordings, like things that Nigerians are just doing to hustle, right? These things are the things that these foreign communities want to see. They want you to bring that energy, right? And bring it with you. Now, I'm not saying anybody should jackpot or not. I mean, it's up to,
Take, like I said, take what you want from this session.
From the session, exactly. But it's up to you. But at the end of the day, I was able to put all those things. And of course, with prayer, I pray a lot of, no offense to anybody, but I pray a lot. I fasted, I prayed and fasted. I committed everything to God's hand. There's something about me. I would always have someone in my network. As I was writing I'll say, please, can you help me check that this thing is jiving? I'm not one of those people to say, I don't want anybody to know about it.
Until I finish, until I reach where I'm going. I'll now tell you, by the way, I arrived in Canada last week.
Do you understand? I'm not saying you should go out there and put your business to everyone. But trust me, always have
trusted people.
Accountability partner. Have an accountability partner. Have trusted people. Another thing is confidence. Just exude that confidence. Go out there and say, I'm worthy of this. I'm deserving of this. I've worked so hard for this. You can't work 10 years and have nothing to show for it. And then
I remember the word I was looking for the global talent visa. People with extraordinary abilities.
Yes, that's us.
I knew the word would come to me. I know it was a big word. Sorry, continue.
So I mean, like, always have people that you can run your goals with. You can run your next career, whatever it is that you want to do. Yes, I know we are Nigerians. We are afraid of village people. We don't want people to know until it has, it has materialized. But in some cases, if you know the people you have around you are trustworthy people, and then these people are holding your hands, they are holding your career path. As I am like this, I have people that are holding my career for me more than me. Do you understand? I mean, they could be some of them are like they are my friends, so they are holding my career for me. Once they see that this work is not making sense again, maybe they let me in and say, oh, okay, let's navigate, let's do this, let's do that. At the same time, for the global talent visa, as I was writing my letters of recommendations, right, or speaking to people, I didn't keep it and say, oh, it's a secret. I didn't say nobody must see my achievements. You must blow your trumpet so high, like Nathaniel Bassey's own. It's not loud enough. Like for global talent, you mustn't come humble.
Yeah.
Like the humility here is not helping anybody. If you were the first person to do it, you were the first person to do it. If you were the first person to put that strategy document down, you went above and beyond. They always want to see that above and beyond. They always want to see that above.
Remember, people with extraordinary ability.
Extraordinary. I was writing this and I said, Bisola, when did you do this? I said, I will now say, but I did this thing now. I actually did it. And the good thing, what helped me is that all the, achievements that I wrote down and I, took credit for, they all had online footprints. So I wasn't, I had the documents. I did attach my documents. They all had online footprints. So you could check, right? You could see that, oh, this thing truly exists, right? I made sure that I sat down. I spoke to someone one day and I was like, could you please help me review this letter that I had written? And he was like, I said, this thing, Orimi, fair blow, my head wants to scatter, because it's a lot of documentation and paperwork. I was overwhelmed. I was actually overwhelmed. I wasn't sleeping. For days, I wasn't sleeping. And that's the type of dedication and hard work that if you want it. So I told the person, I'm really tired. I can't go further. Like, please, whatever errors or blunders. But at the same time, global talent, they'll tell you typographical errors can nullify your system. Can nullify. Yeah. So you know what the person told me? He said, you can't be tired. This is your life.
I like that sort of ginger. I just take some coffee and wake up.
As in, he said, this is your life. I had people that I was calling at 1 a.m., 2 a.m. They were on standby for me to say, okay, what is it? Is the story making sense? Do you understand? So those people were in my network, but I never got tired. I knew that I wanted global talent visa. I had prayed so hard to God about it that I wanted a different route other than the tier 4 post-study route, right? And I was so confident that I was going to get it. But at the same time, because we are human, and because sometimes what's that thing that they say kicks you in the face? Imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome will kick you in the face and say, oh, you're not as good as maybe that particular person that's in the industry that everybody knows, you know. Do you understand? But in your own way, blow your trumpets. So I kept blowing my trumpets, blowing it. I talked about my time at Access Bank. I talked about all the projects that I worked on. I talked about the innovation that I'd done. And then on the day I saw my this thing for global talent, I didn't even go for promise. And that's the funniest part though. I said, Bisola, you're deserving of, I mean, like, if you're going to go for something, why not just go for the best? I mean, there's the exceptional promise, right? For people that have 3 years in the tech industry, and there are people that have 5 years experience. So I went for the 5 years experience one.
No
because
shit.
why am I going to downplay my years of experience and say that, oh, you know, my 3 years, I'll just go, because the 5 years route is actually a faster route. 5 years experience.
5 years experience is faster,
yeah, faster route,
but it's more tougher because you have more to show.
You know, you have more to show. But I never got tired. I was just like putting in the work. And then, you know, I had my husband by my side as well, who I'll say, Baba J, oh yeah, you too, come and read these documents. Come on, you know, is it making sense? Is it this? Is it that? You say, no, change it here, change it there. So I just had networks of people. My mom was around. She'll come and say, you've not submitted this thing. I say, Mommy, I've not submitted. I must dot all my I's, cross all my T's, make the most of the perfection of the documents. If I remember that there was a time I participated in anything, I'll go back and write it again and talk about the impact. So most importantly, I also see that people just talk about what they have done. They never really talk about the impact of, like, for everything we are doing, there must be an impact. This session, there's an impact. We are trying to encourage people. We're trying to inspire people. We're trying to motivate people. Customer experience is not a bad career. When I got to the UK, I started searching for jobs, and I saw how much CX roles were paying for my years of experience. I was like, okay, thank God I never really, I graduated in March. In like a month, I had gotten a job. And I think like 4 to 5 weeks, I had gotten another job. That's when I truly knew that, okay, this customer experience role,
that's,
you know, in Nigeria,
you know, that's exactly what I want to say, that sometimes we let the Nigerianness commonize things that people we really appreciate and really carry, like, this is who you are. And that's why I always tell people, the experience you have from Nigeria, it's not useless. Like, you are bringing a global view into the organization. Why would you want to leave? Why would you want to delete all the things you did in Nigeria because somebody is telling you what? You that are coming with key global experience, you're coming with another sort of view, a diverse view that they don't have. Is it these people that don't even go anywhere? That's who you want to be forming for.
Like, that's just the truth. Like, when you start looking for jobs, if you're in the UK, you will get discouraged because of the tons of opportunities that you would get. Unfortunately, but the right one that is waiting for you, you would find that recruiter or that employer. My first interview. So this is, in fact, this was even like another part. Just digress.
No, you've not finished this story of talent. No. I'm sure someone is saying, oh, yeah, please stay on this. So did you get it? You've not told us that. You wanted to tell us. You know, you stop at where you don't forget your line of thought where you want to talk about the recruiter, but you need to finish that. So you pick the highest, you pick the 5 years. So did you now get it?
So
that's what we want to hear.
I picked the 5 years one. I made sure that the 5 years experience counted for much, right? And I did get it. I got the exception. I got the global talent, right? The one with the 3 years experience. And then I was just like, at that point, that was like the biggest thing that's happened to me, because I never believed that I would actually qualify for this thing. I'd looked around, seen the, you know, caliber of people that have gotten this thing. I'd never seen anybody in customer experience.
I agree with you. I don't know anybody in customer experience, but I know you now.
All the people that
I'm happy to have you in my network.
all the people that are product managers. And so when I got it, everybody was now saying, Bisola, can you please help me review these documents? I said, yes, I can charge
now.
I now charge, please, because, you know, I was able to sell the story. That's another thing I tell people. You are the owner of your story. It's all in words. You have to write your story. Like, this life is storytelling. What is storytelling? Packaging. It is storytelling. Like, I wrote the story so finely that if you were the reader, you'll be so convinced. I told it in my application, I said my children live in the UK, they already love it here. You know, storytelling, you know, they talk about the wonderful this, that, everything, you know, just embodying that whole UK experience, embodying the fact that, oh, you know, I talked about all the conferences that I'd been to in London, you know, the tech events that I attended, all the things that, you know, tech. And then while in school, I also had a stint of tech experience because of my degree. So I did I did a lot of things around artificial intelligence, right? So everything was just like coming full circle because the experience, and also they're talking about how artificial intelligence has helped me, you know, improve customer experience in the organizations that I'd worked with, projects that I'd worked on that had elements of artificial intelligence. Everybody knows that AI is where the world is going to.
You
And
nudge them to the future.
Exactly, and nudge them into the future. My school was very big on artificial intelligence, things around AI, digital twins. At that point, when I was doing that program, I was like that course. I was really, when I was going crazy because I was like, who sent me on errand? Like, who sent me on errand? What is my business with artificial intelligence? I had to start doing research, but that was while I was in school. But I never knew that all that knowledge would make room for me in talent application. Perhaps if I had done it maybe as at the first time I heard of it,
you might not have gotten it. Yeah,
I would not have gotten it.
you might not have gotten it.
But
That's
I
the
had
truth.
all that experience to marinate and then make sense for me, right? I had to do certifications while I was in the university doing my master's on data, everything data, all these data things. I spoke about it again, just helping them know that, see, I'm not just empty, right? I have certifications. If you're looking for certifications, I have a master's. I finished with distinction. Also, like that trumpet, you have to blow it. You have to own your story and set it like no one will, because, you know, at the end of the day, it took me a while to actually believe. I was like, is this another imposter syndrome that is like creeping me, saying, what is there? Everybody is getting it. And then I think about the sleepless nights, and then I hear that, oh, this person's zone was rejected, that person's zone was rejected. You know, I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to brag, I may as well just brag with my, you know, with my shoulder high.
Yeah.
And yeah, so pretty much.
Okay. So wow, thank you so much. This has been a fantastic story. Like, I really love it, and hearing it again, I just love it. Thank you so much. I just want to make a joke. Is there, like, on your LinkedIn, after you write your name, is there like an acronym for Global Talent Visa so you can put it beside it?
No, but people do actually.
Yeah, okay.
And anybody that does it and adds it, it's actually a lot of work.
I know.
So recently I saw someone that just got the one for America. She announced it on her WhatsApp. She wrote it there, like, meet the latest O1 visa holder for America. And then she told me, she said she wrote a 484 pager to defend that. 480.
She wrote 3 books.
3 books to defend that. So I was like, if
she wrote 3 books.
I was talking to someone and I told him that, I said, thank you for your support. I actually did get my endorsement and I got my visa. He said, Bisola, you deserve it. You worked for it.
Oh, I like that. Okay, so still taking this energy. So I like, because we're going to soon round off. So still taking this energy. And I want you to really use, I mean, you've told us your story is amazing. We all love it. So I want you to now please use this energy to now, what will you say to people? Because you know that there's a lot of, most people wants to relocate, not everybody, but some people really genuinely want to relocate, and some of them are confused. Some of them are people with good amount of work experience, like they've worked. It might not be 10 years, it might be 3, it might be 5, but because sometimes, you know, they say the empty barrel makes the loudest noise. There's a lot of noise on some route or some class of visas that they will just say, maybe if this is the only thing, maybe I should just follow. I don't want to mention any name so that it doesn't look like I'm commonizing whatever. Everybody's valuable. But I know that there are some other routes that people would just say, well, because this is what I can hear, they would then go for it. But what will you say to people that are really looking to relocate? They're considering moving to the UK, to Canada, to the US, wherever. Like you said, every country will always have their own. What will you say to them? What will you advise them in terms of really probably not settling and just getting themselves ahead and getting ready? What will you say?
So for everyone that is skilled, you have 5 years of experience, 3 years of experience, 10 years of experience, you want to relocate. First thing I'll say is do your research. There is a path for everybody in a certain career. Do your research. Like you said, don't throw away 10 years of experience. It's going to bite you later, especially when you see your counterparts or your colleagues in the same industry who are now, making waves and doing big things out there. Do your research. In some cases, it may be difficult, but like for some people, when they evaluate the migration routes they want to take, go back and map out your strategy. Look at all the requirements and tick the ones that you have. The ones that you don't have, if it's 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, do you understand? Make a case for it and start working towards it. Never relocate without a plan, right? Never relocate based on everything going. Let me just go.
Never relocate without a plan. This is what I'm taking away. Another extra I'm taking away from this session.
You're a career person, I mean, like, if you're all vibes, like, I just want to leave Nigeria, I mean, like, so be it, that's okay. But if you are skilled, never, disregard your experience in Nigeria. If you are skilled, always migrate with a plan. It doesn't have to be UK. Yeah. Also, I've also seen that migration these days is not as expensive as we had in the earlier days.
Yeah.
Right? Do you understand? You can go for options that cater for people with talent. Trust me, your years as a procurement officer, they count for something. Your years as a HR expert, they count for something.
Yeah.
Your years as a salesman, they definitely count for something. Always the plan. I mean, like, for all the marketers that we used to have in the banks that time and all the revenue they were generating, it was no small feat.
Yeah, that's
it was not
in banks.
A lot of work. Do you understand? And these the foreign community, the foreign industry, they actually appreciate this thing. So look out for the country. If it's the US, right? Go out there and say, oh, I've been an engineer for 5 years. These are my achievements. These are the things that I've done. Put it in paper and biro. You can also talk to consultants. Another thing that I find myself doing is you'll find consultants that'll say 1 hour consultation fee, $100. Trust me, that $100 is worth every dime. That consultation fee that you say, oh, what does the person just want to come and tell me? That consultation fee, that $100 consultation fee is worth every penny. Go and listen, and the person will guide you and say, you know what? Come back in 6 months. I'll put you, we'll work towards a plan. So in 3 months, you get the certification, in 2 months. And what's worth doing is worth doing well. Yeah. Never in a hurry. Like, I hear all sorts of stories. People are selling houses to relocate, to go and do all things. Like, please don't sell your house. Don't do all those things. If you have a partner that is skilled, let that partner take the burden of the family and be the one to relocate. If the two of you are skilled, let that person do it. I've been talking to some people, they say, this stress is too much, I beg, I can't. Just listen to you did all this work. I beg, I can't bother. Some people, they have it on a platter. They've done Canada Express entry when it was like maybe 300 and something, so they've gone, but every day, countries are opening up new opportunities, new routes. So if you know someone that is worthy of this, that has earned it, that has worked in tech and feels like, oh, I cannot get any help, I may be able to render some help. I may be able to, just help the person navigate whatever it is that the person is confused or stuck on, to the best of my knowledge and to the best of, my network capabilities. But never relocate based on vibes. Like,
based on vibes, and inshallah, have a plan.
When we get there, we'll be doing jama. If you get to the abroad, jama will jama you back. Yeah. You won't know when you pack your load, and then, but always relocate with a plan. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Thank you so much, Bisola. Like, this has been like wow. Even myself, I need to rewatch this, so I'm sure. So someone was asking, yes, when we finish the recording will always be there on our page. So thank you so much for spending this time with me, for deciding to share your story. Like I always say, not everybody wants to come forward to share. Everybody wants to collect their global talent visa. I want to be global talent in their house, but I know for sure a lot of people will reach out to you personally. A lot of people will come to you to really understand how this is extremely good. Thank you for being very open. Thank you for being very vulnerable with us and really sharing your journey and your story. So thank you so much. So we've sort of come to the end. of the session. Thank you so much, Abisala. So thank you everyone for joining. Thank you to Abby's colleague. Thank you to the Career Ready community. Thank you to Abby's support system. I saw your husband was the first person. Thank you so much. He was the first person. Thank you everyone. Like, this is really good. So take this, like I say, always take what you will, but I would really appreciate and encourage you to let this take back and let you think about your own journey. How do you want to sort of map out how you want to map out your own journey, how you want to map out your what you plan to do. And this is a good time to really, if there's something you've been doing, this is a good time to sort of re-strategize and really replan yourself. And feel free to reach out to people. Feel free to use your network. There, any network that is there and they are not useful, they are not your network. Cut them off. Find new people. That's how I always say. If I have you in my network, go ahead.
On periods.
And that's it. If I have you in my network, if you're not going to be useful for my community, for my business, or for me, what am I having you for? So this is what I'll say. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Bisala. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Yes, to everyone. Thank you for joining.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.